The three-door inn stood hunched in the oldest quarter of Istanbul, a relic of the Ottoman era. Its once vibrant facade now a canvas for peeling paint and creeping vines. Three arched doorways gaped onto the street like empty sockets. Local legend whispered of a curse, a darkness that clung to the inn, a shroud woven from centuries of tragedy and despair. The inn had once been a caravanserai, a bustling haven for travellers on the Silk Road. Merchants, pilgrims and adventurers all drawn to its hearth. Now, only stray cats and the echo of forgotten stories dared to tread its dusty floors. The air hung heavy, thick with the scent of mildew and the weight of unspoken secrets. Even the sunlight seemed hesitant to touch the inn, as if repelled by its unseen wounds. Ali, a young journalist hungry for a story, felt a shiver crawl down his spine as he approached the inn. He had heard the whispers, the hushed tones, and the fearful glances. He had scoffed at the superstitions. Armed with his notepad and pen, he saw not a haunted building, but a challenge, a mystery begging to be unravelled. The old caretaker, a man with eyes as ancient as the city itself, warned him. "The inn devours the curious," he rasped, his voice a dry whisper. Ali, however, brushed aside the warning. He was not a man to be deterred by old wives' tales. He stepped across the threshold, the floorboards groaning beneath his feet, and entered the belly of the beast. The air inside was stale, thick with the dust of ages. Cobwebs, spun silver in the slivers of light that pierced the boarded-up windows, hung like macabre tapestries. Ali's footsteps echoed in the silence, the only sound other than the frantic fluttering of pigeons, disturbed by his intrusion. Each room he entered was a portrait of decay. Faded grandeur clung to the remnants of once rich carpets and intricately carved furniture. Now they lay shrouded in dust covers, like mourners at a forgotten funeral. He ran his fingers along a cold marble fireplace, its surface etched with time and neglect. The inn whispered its sorrow, a symphony of creaks and groans that sent chills down his spine. As dusk painted the sky in hues of purple and blood orange, Ali felt a presence, a coldness that seeped into his bones despite the summer night. He heard a soft whisper, a name uttered on the edge of hearing. He spun around, his heart pounding against his ribs, but found only shadows lengthening in the fading light. He pressed on, drawn deeper into the labyrinthine inn by an invisible force. The whispers grew stronger, the air thick with unseen energy. He felt a cold breath on his neck, sending goosebumps erupting across his skin. He turned, his eyes scanning the darkness, but again found nothing. Section 5, The Face in the Mirror. He stumbled upon a room at the end of a darkened hallway. Its door creaked open as if inviting him in. The air inside was frigid, and the scent of jasmine, heavy and cloying, hung in the air. A tarnished silver mirror adorned one wall, its surface cloudy with age. As Ali stepped closer, he saw it. A face shimmered in the mirror's depths, not his own, but that of a man in Ottoman attire, his eyes burning with a cold fire. Ali recoiled, his breath catching in his throat. The face in the mirror remained, its gaze unwavering, accusing. Section 6. The Spellbook. His fear warred with his journalistic curiosity. He forced himself to approach the mirror again, his hand trembling as he reached out to touch the cold surface. As his fingers brushed against the glass, the image rippled and the face vanished. Behind the mirror, he found a hidden compartment. Inside lay a leather-bound book, its pages brittle with age. The book was a grimoire, a spellbook filled with arcane symbols and incantations, written in a language he couldn't decipher. As he leafed through the brittle pages, a chill ran down his spine. He realized with a growing sense of dread that this book held the key to the inn's dark secret. Section 7. A Desperate Plea. As he read further, he learned of a powerful sorcerer who had once used the inn as his lair. The sorcerer had attempted a forbidden spell, a ritual to cheat death itself, but the spell had gone terribly wrong, trapping not only himself but countless others within the inn's walls. The whispers, the cold spots, the face in the mirror, they were the trapped souls, forever bound to the inn. He found a passage describing the sorcerer's desperate plea to undo the spell. A ritual that required a blood sacrifice and the chanting of a specific incantation. He realized with a shudder that he was not just holding a book, he was holding the fate of the trapped souls in his hands. Section 8. Trapped. Driven by a mixture of fear and a strange sense of responsibility, Ali decided to help. He gathered the necessary elements for the ritual, his hands trembling as he prepared the blood sacrifice. As he began to chant the words from the book, the air crackled with energy. Shadows danced in the corners of the room, and he felt a cold hand close around his wrist. The temperature plummeted, and the whispers intensified, swirling around him like a vortex. He fought to maintain his focus, his voice growing stronger as he neared the end of the incantation. Suddenly, a blinding light filled the room, and he cried out, shielding his eyes. Section 9. The Price of Truth. When Ali opened his eyes, the room was silent. The air was still, and the oppressive atmosphere had lifted. The book lay open on the floor, its pages blank. The trapped souls were gone. He had succeeded. As he rose to leave, he felt a sharp pain in his chest, a searing cold that spread through his body. He looked down to see a ghostly hand, its fingers sunk into his chest, its grip unwavering. The face of the Ottoman man from the mirror materialized before him, his eyes burning with a mixture of gratitude and something else, something darker. "You have freed us," the apparition rasped, his voice a hollow echo, "but every action has a price." Section 10. The Lingering Curse. Ali stumbled back, his heart pounding against his ribs. He watched in horror as the ghostly hand withdrew, leaving behind a chill that seemed to permeate his very being. The apparition faded, leaving Ali alone in the silent room. He had freed the trapped souls, but in doing so, he had tethered himself to the inn's darkness. He left the three-door inn a changed man. He carried the curse with him, a constant shadow that clung to him like a shroud. The whispers followed him, the feeling of unseen eyes watching his every move. He had sought a story, and he'd found one. But it was a story that would haunt him for the rest of his days.